Um, Hello everyone. I'm remaking this video because the last video you couldn't hear me at all, which is, very unfortunate. um, because I didn't want to say anything more on the situation really. Um, like, I was alright with talking about it, but, I didn't want to say, I guess, too, too much on it. I know that probably doesn't make any sense, but, um, yeah, I didn't want to drag this out, so it's really unfortunate that the audio quality sucked. And I didn't really watch my own video before I posted it. Like, I probably should have done that, but you just absolutely couldn't hear me at all, which is really bloody unfortunate if you ask me. Like, what? Oh my god. Okay, but yeah, it's just really unfortunate because now I have to go and explain myself again. But what I have to say on that matter is a few things. First, I want to explain about Larry Appleton, or or Matt, as it's shown in the Discord receipts. And just so you know, like, I can't I can't make a perfect timeline on all of this issues, cause I'm a bit my memory is quite interesting. Some things I don't fully remember from that time period, like at all. So it's just it's just like it it's a bit blurry in a sense. That time period of my life. I don't know if it makes any sense, but it's just kind of like a blur in some ways, like um with the state I was in and the kind of life I was living, I don't have a perfect timeline, and plus I don't have, I guess, everything, um, everything. But I just want to explain some things, um, about Matt, or Larry, as you'd call him. Um, he he was already a problematic guy. Um, Under the name Larry Appleton, he wasn't really known under his name of Matt. Well, he was, but he wasn't. If that makes any sense. Like, Eugenia wouldn't know him as Matt or as Larry. She would no, she would know him as Larry. And the reason I say that is because um, my friend was victimized by one of Larry's friends a whole year prior. I think it was a whole year. It might not have been a whole year, but it was definitely a year a year prior. Um, she was victimized by this Larry guy. Um, and not Larry. She was victimized by Johnny, and Johnny and Larry were friends. And because they were friends, um, sorry, it's really hard to recount all of this because it's kind of complicated, and I want to make sure I say everything the right way. Johnny and Larry were friends, and Johnny not Johnny victimized my friend. Um, I'm not gonna tell her story, but it's a whole ordeal. You could probably find it on YouTube. The Dark Angel did some interviews on it, but Larry was Johnny's friend, and he would attack Ariel in the comments on YouTube. And I think maybe, yeah, he was just he was a very mean guy to the point where he actually got banned from YouTube for making such terrible content comments. I think you should realize like how rare it is to get your entire channel or account taken down over YouTube comments. Like that's kind of pretty revolutionary. And I know that Dark and Ariel, but mostly Dark, went and reported everything to Eugenia. He did it. I think he guested her live. He told her everything about Johnny. Um, and Larry was known for being, I guess like Johnny's buddy, if that makes any sense. Uh, yeah, he was known for that. So it was just really clear, like what kind of guy he was. Um, because he attacked my friend. Um, he was he did this thing where he was mean to her and then he was nice to her. Like it's very interesting. Oh, not interesting. It's not as like unknown. He's not as unknown as a guy as he appears to be, which I don't expect Eugenia to know him right off, um, because he went by a different name on the Discord. So he wasn't known or as influential on there, but nonetheless he was still a bad guy. Um, he still hurt my friend, and Johnny was banned. I think after a whole year. Um, that's what I heard from Dark, that it took a year to get him banned. But the deal with that is Larry was known for being problematic with Johnny, but Larry got to stay. So Eugenia herself, because there was no mods back then, so keep that in mind that it was actually much harder to actually get people banned because there was no mods. Because didn't have mods back in the day. There was no mods on just the site's mods, but they weren't her mods and they weren't there all the time. And the person that did all the banning or blocking was Eugenia during this time period. Um, but Larry got to stay in her community. And then a whole year later, I think it was a whole year. A whole year later, Larry victimized me. So we have this guy here that's already, I guess, already was exposed for being a bad apple, no pun intended. And it's just not as, I guess, clueless as it's perceived. I know that might sound crazy to you guys, like, because Eugenia says that she didn't know him, and I don't think that she did know him at the time, but he was already a problematic individual. He was already a bad person, and he was already exposed for that. Um, so that's the issue with that. And I didn't expect her to quite on full on know him, because I didn't think she would. But the fact is, in the past, he was already a bad apple. So I hope that makes sense. Let me just recount this one more time, just to try to make it make more sense. Um, but it really doesn't make any. Well, it does, but it doesn't. It's one of those things. Where he already probably should have been banned after, he was banned from YouTube. That should have been a sign like Eugenia should ban this guy too, but it wasn't. So the deal with that is, I guess, yeah, he should have been banned when he was attacking my friend. And he wasn't sexually exploiting her, but he was still being bullying to her and being a harassing, bad dude. Like that's the kind of people that Eugenia also keeps around. Because I remember, I've been harassed by multiple people at this point in her audience that have attacked me, and you know, it's a bit, it's a bit more than a sexual exploitation, I guess, which it is, but it's also other stuff as well. Like there are so many people that she kept that was very problematic or dangerous, I'd say. So it wasn't just predators or people of that nature. Um, it was also other kinds of bad individuals that were hurtful or just a bad thing for her community. Um, so that is the deal with that. Like I want to put that out there. I hope I made sense with the Larry point. Um, at least I hope. Cause that might not make any sense to you. Maybe I don't know if it will. Um, it's just an issue of how do I put it? It's an issue of a lot of stuff. Cause there's also another guy. Way before Matt came around for me. After Johnny and Larry though for Ariel, just not before Larry came around for me. There was this kid, and I remember this. He was a sub to her, and he started saying horrible, awful things to me. He would try to trigger my anorexia. He went after me. He called me names. He incurred he. It was weird. It was like he'd insult me for being anorexic or like being like, "Oh, you're so unhealthy," but then he'd go and be like, "Oh, actually, you're fat and you made up your eating disorder," like that kind of thing. And then he'd be like, "You should do a mukbang," which that's one thing I'll give Eugenia. That is a very annoying thing to happen, where someone's constantly being like, "You should do a mukbang." So when I actually did do one, I know that's bad. I did do one. Um, I ate a piece of cake because it was my birthday. The video is deleted now, but it's out there somewhere. And he would constantly harass me and Ariel again. It always seems to be me and Ariel that's getting harassed. I find that very, I guess, sad that it's always me and her. Because we've both had enough. Like really, like we've already both been through with shit. So the fact that we just keep getting like we keep having to deal with this kind of thing is very, I guess, upsetting to me. Like it always seems to be us two. um, but yeah, he went after both of us, and I know Eugenia kept like, cause he was full on harassing us. There's no doubt about that. Like the stuff that he would say, he would make videos too, um, and all of that, and he would just and she would just be like, "Oh, you guys can block each other," like, and this guy was full on attacking me. I think he even said some hurtful things to me live in her YouNow streams. Keep in mind there was no mods during this time. He was just a guy that was subscribed, essentially. I guess I could say that. But yeah, eventually, she banned him, and then he like came and goaded her, and then he got unbanned again. Despite the fact that he was harassing us, and listen, I don't know exactly what he said, cause, like I said, I'm a bit dizzy with this whole mess. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, I'm not fully, I'm not fully, I guess, conscious of all of this. Like, I am, but I'm not. Like, it's really blurry for me. I know that probably doesn't make any sense to you guys. Um, but another guy that I reported, his name was Santheman. Now, this guy's been dealt with. I know every time that someone brings him up, he likes to come back and make videos and slander all of us, but I'm clearing this up for the sake of how much Eugenia dismisses reports. It's not so much to do with Sam the man himself, but he also is a dangerous man that was harassing me and Ariel, making lies, um, saying all kinds of awful stuff. Like that guy told me, the guy told me to kill myself, but then he'd also claim to care about my safety. Um, he would lie about caring about my safety. He would make he would make up shit about me. He'd keep telling people that that I was a lesbian, even though I stopped identifying as lesbian because I identify as bisexual. Um, he would try to claim that Ariel's being inappropriate with me, which that was never the case. Like he pretended that he had a screenshot of Ariel saying something sexual to me when that never happened. Let me expound on that. He claimed that Ariel sent him a DM that was meant for me, that was sexual, which that's not the case. And the reason that he harassed Ariel in the first place was because she was trying to enforce a boundary because she found it creepy about how he would interact with her, like selfies or whatever. So she asked him to stop, and that's what caused all of this issues with this stuff. You know, like it doesn't have to do with yeah, it doesn't it didn't have to do with protecting me or anything like that. Like he would do that kind of thing. Um, and then every so often, like we would do something or something would happen, and then he would come back. He would like leave and come back like all the time. Like if we did anything that he considered out of the line, he'd come back and harass all of us and make false pedo accusations and all of that. Um, and it just got to I guess, a bad point with all this. Sorry. Yeah. And we would go to Eugenia and we would give her receipts. Um, we would fully explain what was going on. Um, we went to her on a numerous of occasions about the situation, and nothing would really be done about it. And she'd full on just be like, "Well, at least you guys have each other blocked," when that didn't really help at all. Cause, like I said, this guy was weird, like as heck. Like he was one of the guys I told Larry about stalking me, which is the child molester mod. Um, which is ironic, cause that made Matt say that he hated creeps. But it's just like, look at yourself, dude. But I would report all of this to him, and not emo J or whatever. But so they couldn't say that I never reported anything. It's just I guess the mods that I reported to were the ones that were useless pieces of shit. But that's a point for another day, I guess. I'm trying to get health up before I fight this dude. Because as you know, I'm an epic gamer. Well, okay, anyway, I need to get on with this. I would go Ariel. It was mostly Ariel. Um, I went sometimes. Like usually, I'd tell her live to check my DMs. It was less to do with like I don't actually have those DMs, but Ariel does. So Ariel would go and report him with the receipts, with all the evidence, everything, and we would be very dismissed. She didn't want to get rid of him despite the fact that, he was attacking children and young women in her audience. So that's why a lot of times the names didn't matter and they never mattered. So Eugenia, she always said that she would ban someone with proof, but then she wouldn't. And the only reason I bring this up too that I even remembered it, because I tend to actually kind of forget about this guy entirely, was because in that clip on Twitch, she would say like how other people would go and like cause all this drama and shit. Um, so yeah, it's just like it's kind of a ridiculous concept actually. Um, all that was happening, like, cause she kind of blurred it, like when she was retelling all the oh my god, when she was retelling all of it, she kept mentioning Steve, and it's like it had not whatever I brought up to her had nothing to do with Steve, and then she'd be like, well, this side was telling me things, and the other side was saying that this was fine, and it's like, no, that's not what happened. That was a different issue entirely. Larry was actually problematic a year before, but it's still she kept kind of blending all these issues because that's something that she does. She tries to blend all the people kind of into, I guess, one person. So yeah, uh, this is gonna be a long video, I know, because this is kind of like a timeline of sorts. Also, I encourage this to be posted onto the Reddit. Um, so yeah, um, I wanted the last scene to be my final statement on the issue, but it turned out to uh it all turns out to be I guess a bigger issue than I don't know how to describe this. It's like a bigger issue than what was shown to light. Um, can I get food, please? I just gotta avoid being hit for now. Get away from me, dude. Away from me, you psycho. But yeah, I just would count for a countless number of times. I would report all this shit, and Ariel would report all this shit, and then nothing would be done about it. Multiple people. Like I've been attacked by multiple people, and that's just different levels. It's like on a CSA level, on a pedophilic level, um, just everything. I am really low, but so is he. Oh my goodness. I just need to get a few hits in. Yes. Okay, I did it. But um but yeah, about that, it's just like I we would give names, we would give receipts. So she couldn't say with him that we didn't. And plus, he was going and spreading lies, but he never had receipts, and that was part of the whole like when she was blurring the issues, being like, "Oh, well, she always brought drama to me." Like, no, it was like all this harassment that was going on that she just kind of ignored because he was a sub of hers and all that. And he was really only banned after, he started trash talking the mods. Which the mods were trash. It's just the way he went about it was like telling her what to do and just saying that he should be a mod or some crap like that. That's how he kind of went about the whole situation. He wasn't doing it in the right way, but that's what got him banned. And I just find that kind of ridiculous that it wasn't the harassment of minors that got him banned. It was the harassment of children. It was the harassment of these people that she hired, basically. And it's just like I just personally find that kind of thing to be ridiculous. Like maybe that's just me. Um but yeah. Ain't nervous. Okay. Um da, 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 da. Okay, sorry. I know that's a bit annoying for me to just do that. Um, I'm I'm terrible. I feel like I figured I'd play because I figured it'd at least get something a bit more, and also help me focus. Like it both helps me focus and hinders me. It's a weird concept, I know. Um, it's a very strange concept in my opinion. Um, I keep pausing. Okay. Uh, but this video is gonna be fucking forever. Oh my god. Um, but yeah, I would report this one guy, and yeah, in my screenshot, I didn't report Larry, but like I said before, Larry was already a problematic being. Um, he was already he was already an issue to begin with, so it's just like I don't understand people. I guess I wouldn't know all of that, but it's just to me, I find that whole concept to be a bit like. Actually, wait. Yeah, I wanted to. That's right. I wanted to buy pots. I wanted to buy pots first. Just so I could have, because I nearly died during that boss fight. So yeah. Uh, that's the deal with that. Um, but yeah, multiple times I would go to her about people, and it would just be to no avail. Um, and I was harassed by multiple people in her community. Like, there's probably more that I don't even remember about. And it would just be like, in some ways, I guess, like, too bad, so sad. I don't know. It probably makes no sense. But it really was an issue where she'd ignore people bullying, especially, her young supporters and her young women supporters. It's just a big issue. Like she doesn't take care of these situations as she says she does. And like I said, Larry was already problematic. Sometimes I would go to receipts about other people, and it just wouldn't do anything. Like it wouldn't, I guess, matter. Um, I would report all kinds of all kinds of shit, and it would just be, I guess, like completely ignored and um, not taken seriously, or being like, "Oh, you guys should just block each other." It's like, well, we obviously did, but it's still an issue. Like he's still harassing us. Um, and there was, what else was there? Is this does this tree have food? It does. But yeah, it's just an issue that happened so many times. I'm telling you, like it's ridiculous how many times that kind of thing happened where we were being attacked and Eugenia was too nice to do anything about it because they were nice to her, even though it was hurting her young fans. Um, like that is a big issue. It's kind of like Jacqueline said, where you're only nice if you don't question her anorexia. Like she doesn't think people are bad if they don't question her anorexia, and the kind of people that don't question it are bad people. Um, people that are dangerous and stuff. So she's not gonna see them as bad, because they enable the entire issue. Um, you know what I mean? Like So I probably make no sense right now. I try to make better sense, but I think that explains my point. Also, another point I want to make that I was never the one who started playing off all this entire thing as just an issue with mods. That's something that the creators misunderstood. I never said that, it was all the mods that were the people behind all this. In fact, in my messages, I never said that they were mods. I don't know how that misconception happened. I guess because it's a very confusing story, and I feel like they should have done an interview with me first to clear up anything. Um, like, I should have been there to just say everything that happened, like under the under everything. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of how I feel about the situation um, at hand. I guess you could say. Um, but yeah, it's just been an issue so so many times. Like I don't make like there's just so many people that just been mean and horrible, and they just weren't banned. They were even bad to Eugenia, and it was just an issue of oh my god, I keep pausing the game. But it's just an issue of how many times that these people were downright awful, um, and how nothing would be done about any of them. Like it's really messed up, I guess you could say. Um, that this all happened like so many freaking times. I hate the bows. There's nothing I hate more than archers. um, but yeah, it just really sucks because now it's being painted as like it's being painted like it's my issue, if that makes any sense. Or that like I didn't say anything, which I don't think it would have mattered if I did. Like maybe it would have, but there's just with the history, it's just like I was so used to her just kind of ignoring everything anyway. You know what I mean? Um, and I even admired that. I was like, oh, she's so nice to these people that are mean and horrible. Like that's such an admirable trait. It's my problem that I have a problem with them harassing me. Like that's the kind of environment that was supplied there. I know it's a ridiculous statement, but I really did feel like that it was, I guess, my issue and not theirs. Like maybe that's maybe that's dumb. Um, it could be dumb, but it's just like, like I hated that I got in all this drama with people, and she always stayed out of her drama, and it was the people in the community's fault. And nothing to do with all the bad people that she kept around, kind of deal. And I also want to mention that it doesn't just extend to 2018. Now, a lot of this did happen in 2018. Santheman happened in 2018 and 2019 and 2017, I think. Um, but the other people, the other people were already like problematic and stuff. But like even with now, with the moderator that's I keep pausing, with the moderator that's pro Anna. She started to write that off like it was a thing that happened way back in 2018, but that guy was still a mod, and that situation only happened a few months ago. Um, like it's really not as she keeps playing things off like it happened so long ago, and really some of this stuff has only been a few months. Um, I don't know if that's like her anorexic brain or something. But it's just like no, no, girl, like you don't even know what I'm talking about. But this is something that happened recently, and one of your mods, Nevik, was right in chat when it was happening. Like I don't know what good it is excusing all of this. Uh, You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of how I feel about the situation. Uh, should have my pots ready actually. Um, but that's just how I feel about all of it. Um, with the pro ana mod, Nevik was right there. The girl said, I want a thigh gap, and then he was like, Nevik was like, oh no, like, why do you want one? Your body's perfect. And then Irish Woofy, the mod, started saying like, actually no, anyone can get a thigh gap. I'll give you weight loss tips. He gave her some tips, like some exercise things, and told her to, DM him in the case that it happened, I guess again. If that's the way to put it. Um, I think that's how you describe that. But yeah, that's just how I personally feel about all of this. That emo, not emo J, Irish Woofy, he was still a mod even after I brought it up and started causing controversy about it. Like emo J in chat even said, I gave that guy a warning, and if he ever did again, I'd give him the boot. Like he said that when Eugenia started talking about it, and it's just like, and then when I went to check, I guess Repsilia's live on Roselia's when I went to go get a screenshot of him still being a mod. Suddenly he just wasn't a mod anymore, and it's like he's still in the server. That's the thing, he's still in the server, but he was just demoted a mod like that day, and that was an issue that was already being brought up by me for months. Um, you know, like there's just so many things with that. And with Zemzo wasn't even banned. He just left on his own volition, probably because I probably started causing issues for him, you know, because I don't condone people harassing, but I think he left because he was being harassed over, being violent, um, which I don't know who did that or if that's even true, but that's just my guess. Zemzo, in that clip I donated live telling her about him and how I got written off immediately is he's just a really he's just a really sweet guy, and it's more like it became more like my problem than her than than his, because on the screenshots I had that he threatened to beat people with like lead pipes. He was just an all around like shitty kind of dude. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many situations like that where I've had a multitude of issues and then nothing would be done about them. Um, and that's just how it goes so many times. Like I got banned for reporting Zemzo, for reporting a guy that threatened people with lead pipes and was talking about how young girls hit on him and how his body's a curse and all that creepy weird shit, and how he wanted Eugenia to like suck on his neck like a vampire or some crap, like or how many sexual conversations he had with in a non-18 plus Discord. Um, it was just, to me, I found that whole process ridiculous, and I got banned over that. People were forgetting that I got banned over reporting someone, so she can't just say that she takes all these reports so seriously like that when she really doesn't. She really doesn't take it as seriously as she portrays herself to, and it's probably going to be hard for some of you people to, I guess, accept about him. Um, but that's just the truth of the situation. You know, like he harassed so many people. Frying the lead pipes, telling that he'd go to the house, all that crap, and then how nothing would be done about all of that. Like, I just found the whole prospect to be a bit ridiculous. Uh, So yeah, that's the deal with that. Ba ba ba, da 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 da. Ha. Normally he gets one. Um, but yeah, that's just the deal with all that. Like, people forget that I was banned for reporting somebody, so I don't see her point where she says that she takes all these people seriously. And plus, even with Zemzo, someone else did report to the mods, and then he was just like, and then, they were just like, oh, he's not a big deal at all. Like, I don't see him threatening anyone, even though he literally did it all the time, and even admitted that he caused problems by being there. Um, and that's just, I feel like I'm missing something with the situations. Um, I know I definitely am. But yeah, um, it's just I don't understand some of the concepts behind I guess all this shit, because it really, it just really kind of like, I guess, sucks. Um, and I think you guys get that. That Larry was problematic way before I was groomed, because he was harassing Ariel. I reported another guy. It was just, I guess, ignored. Ugh, I was just ignored like so many freaking times, and how it's just that was such a big issue during that time period. Like, I don't think you guys realize how much how much shit really went on with all that. Like, uh, it just really, it's just not the the kind of thing that you want. Like, and plus, I think you got to realize too that it's more than just a few bad apples or a few bad people. Like, there's just so many issues with other people and Eugenia herself, and those are the big names that I always had. Zemzo, Eugenia Slave. That too, Eugenia Slave. Emo J ranted about how he was so lenient with her community, despite the fact that he was sexually harassing people in her community. Sending them DMs about his dick. You know, and he went on a full rant about how he couldn't ban Eugenia Slave. And then 3 weeks later, suddenly everything's everything that he does is dealt with. Like, that doesn't make any bit of sense to me how that works. Because 3 weeks prior to that, he was on this vent about how he couldn't ban people in her community that were bad and how lenient he was and all that. And then 3 weeks later, I guess after my Reddit post, it was all like, yes, we handle everyone. And then Eugenia Slay was banned. And it's like, they're these people are only banned when they have pressure on them, and that's something that people fail to understand about all this. That it's only with all the pressure that these people are banned, and with only a fight that happened with Johnny, it didn't happen with Larry, but I guess kind of it did because Larry harassed Ariel um, a whole year before. Um, like the point where he got banned from YouTube, but not from, I guess, Eugenia's community. And another issue is that Steve guy, which I wasn't even talking about, but she brought him up, so that made me remember about how she would ignore all his reports and all the receipts that we had on that. Um, and would just be like, well, at least you guys have each other blocked, despite the fact that he would still go and harass us anyway. in her Discord, in her streams. You know that Steve guy? He kept trying to join my Discord servers to intimidate me. Like, if I posted my Discord server on my Twitter or something, he would just, like to always pop in and join. And, like, I guess tried to intimidate me with that. And then he'd, like, he'd be like, I know where you live. He stalked Ariel. He found her Facebook and, like, messaged her mother. Like, that's just, like, how ridiculous a whole situation fucking got. But Eugenia's just like, oh yeah, I'm not involved with any of the drama. Even though he paid her a lot of money and he was a long-term supporter, and the only reason that he knew of us was from her. But yeah, it's just with all of that, it's such a complex timeline. I know, because so many things are happening at once. There's still things happening. I think Irish Wolfie's still in the server, but he's just not a mod anymore because I went to go check and then he was not a mod. And it's just, I was banned for reporting Zemzo for being a violent creep douche. And it's just like, people are hyperfixating on the fact that, I didn't explicitly say what was happening. And yeah, that's true. And I guess she didn't know Matt, but she knew Larry Appleton. At least at one time she did, and knew that he was problematic for harassing Ariel, not in a sexual way, but, like, just attacking her. And manipulating her by being nice and then mean, and then nice and then mean in the comments and all that. He got banned from YouTube, but not from the community, even though he was such buds with Johnny. And I think Johnny took a whole year to get banned, even though he was, a fucking Nazi. Like, he was a Nazi, he hated black people, he was anti-Semitic, he posted swastikas all over his Twitter when he still had the Twitter. And yeah, that's just the deal with all that, where it's just like, he was already problematic too, considering the fact that he was a Nazi, and he was just allowed in. Like, Eugenia hates racism? Like, what? Foreign concept. But seriously, like, there's so many times where all these people are bad, or already showing signs of being bad, and it's just ignored. Like, Emo J, he's not the worst, but he's been violent before. And there's so many people in her Twitch chat trying to bait her to bend over, like telling her to pick up a stuffed animal, and if she happens to slip, if you point that out how that's problematic, you're somehow the pervert because Eugenia, I guess, normalized that she has wardrobe malfunctions, and yeah, it's something that happens sometimes, but it's just like, with how much she does it, and the fact that it's just so normalized, and just like, oh yeah, that's not a problem at all, like, I have a kid audience, but it's not a problem at all. It's just something to keep in mind. And the entire community is parasocial grooming. With the amount of how much they sexualize Eugenia, the fact that they would talk about it in the server back before it was being moderated properly, before I said anything, with all the stuff that was talked about there, in an environment that was, kids, teens were watching, it's just, it is parasocial grooming, and it's not just a few bad apples. Although the few bad apples are already bad enough on their own. It's just, it's such a bigger problem than that. And they've only stopped because I'm watching. But that's the thing, they still haven't really stopped. I think they're just covering it up better. And plus there's the fact, Vendediff proved my point because he threatened Repsilla's life. And it's just like, what am I talking about there? I think his message apparently was deleted after I sent Repsilla the proof that, this guy threatened his life. But just like, it was just deleted and then, like, ignored. And it's like, just how much, threats or, like, violent shit that was, like, spewed around there. It's just a big issue. And it's so much bigger than me. I don't care much about my own case because, like I said, it was taken care of once I finally told. It's just, there's so many other times where there's bad people that either, pedophiles, creeps, perverts, violent, dangerous, everything. Like, pro-anorexia fetishists. Like that Mark guy that she actually defended, where he had that site where, that pro-anorexia website. I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. Or how he would try to get her to do sit-in spins. And how that was just disregarded. Like, I only stopped it because people are accusing me of being sexual about it, and it's like, like, it was entirely sexual. But yeah, with how much pro-ana-ness from her own mods until he got demoted, but it's only because I exposed it. Just all of that. It is a major issue. And it's not just these bad apples. Although the bad apples are bad enough. And it's the best timeline I can put together. But there's definitely people I'm missing. There's definitely ever creeps that they were there. I know my friend Duding Daily said that when she joined, she said she had anorexia, and someone was instantly in her DMs and talking, asking questions about school. And then when he found out she was an adult, it was just like, this one guy apparently thought that he was talking to a child, so he instantly DM'd her, and then how he tried to get her away from her husband. That's the kind of environment we're in where, that kind of thing happens, like an hour of him joining a server. And how Eugenia doesn't do any kind of checking into her mods. I still don't think she does. She knows them a bit better now. She's not just modding random people, I don't think, but I don't think she's still doing the right actions. And I think her Discord should be shut down, or at the very least 18 plus. I think her Twitch should be 18 plus. She can keep the YouTube how it is. I wish she didn't make YouTube videos because they're bad on minors, but with the whole like body checking thing. But my issue with that still stands. That if she wants to keep making money, but just put a trigger warning beforehand, I'd be fine with that. She can make her buck by exploiting her own disorder. Like, I don't fucking care. But the Twitch, she can still make that 18 plus and still make money. With the Discord, she can make that 18 plus, or just fucking delete it at this point because it's hellfire. But yeah, it's just there's just so many issues there with the whole situation, and people are kind of giving her too much excuses about it. But yeah, if you guys could please post this to Reddit. I know it's a long video. I know it's super long, and it's probably hard to get through, but there's just so much information, and it's just like so complex. But there's also a person that I recently discovered, Emma Cooney, another creepy person in our community. They would ask me stuff like, and I thought this was all normal. Because with the parasocial grooming, this kind of normalizes behavior to me. They asked me like, if Eugenia turns me on, and I said no, and then they said that Eugenia does turn them on, and then they asked if I like to like kiss my arms and legs, like like this is something I recently discovered by going through my Twitch messages. Because I just wanted to see if there's anything like interesting going on in there, but there was. And that I completely normalized that, and I normalized myself being sexualized or stuff like that. And there's kids posting photos in our Discord. I'm not saying that's entirely a bad thing. It's just with the kind of people that are there and have been in the past that just makes me go yikes. Because there's nothing wrong with a selfie channel, and I don't mean to sound like a Karen when I say that. It's just like there are so many issues. So many issues, and I just wanted to get that clear, because I tried to make one last video, but the audio fucking sucked, and this audio, my mic might be too loud, but pick a struggle, like, that's how I feel about all of this, all this mess. But I think that's everything I can think of. There's just so much shit. It's hard to get a timeline of this, and plus, I kind of blacked out that entire period of my life. Like, I remember the big details, but there's just so much there's just so much that I blacked out from all of it. Um, uh, but yeah, I think I don't entirely blame her response to me. It's just I feel like I would have asked more questions. I don't think what she said was bad. I feel like she should have just said, like, maybe if it gets to a certain point, go to the police. I think maybe if she just said go to the police, period, I feel like that would have been at least a bit better. Um, I don't entirely hate that response. It's just like considering about all the people that harassed me and how I worded being like, I can't be a sub anymore. I have to change. I have to go in hiding. I feel like that should have prompted questions. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be completely wrong about that, but just think about like if you got that DM, what would you do? Like I feel like I would ask questions about it. But that I kind of see your point there, where she didn't have context in the situation. Um, but it's just I guess I thought Clomlaria would update everyone about it, but I guess he didn't, because, he was a child molester, for fuck's sakes. um, but yeah, there actually is even more people that have tried to groom me from her community, but I can't get really into that one. Uh, yeah. Uh, but yeah, just there's so much sexual shit that was normalized, so much grooming behavior that was normalized. It was a big parasocial grooming environment. And I'm gonna copy and paste my same description if you want a TDLR, which at this point you're already like an hour in, so you probably heard everything I said. But yeah, this is my updated version. Um, with the last video, I'm sorry that the audio was bad. Plus, I didn't get any porn I wanted anyway. But um, that's just how I feel about the mess. Um, I'm still gonna keep that video up even though you couldn't hear me. Um, which yeah, it's shitty. I know. I should have probably played my own video back, but I just didn't want to hear myself talk about my trauma. And plus, there's people from her community that full on went and harassed me even after the Reddit post. Like, there's people on Reddit who make multiple accounts about me, and they just go and they attack me about things, and that's been really upsetting to me. Um, like this one guy, he made a post about like how my dog should die or something. It's about me and doing it daily. It was something like your dog deserves to die. Uh, what else was there? I don't fully remember it. When he went in chat, was like, "Oh yeah, I got banned for harassing the mods of the Reddit." And it's just like, Dooning Daily said like, well yeah, but you full on called me like a bitch and said that I should die and all that crap. And then Dooning's message was deleted, but the person that harassed Dooning had nothing done to them. Like that's the kind of ridiculous stuff that happens. You get banned quicker for reporting a situation than you do for actually doing the situation. And that is ridiculous. And that goes to her mods and to Eugenia. So how I see this works is it works like McDonald's. You have your employee. Your employee does something horrible, they like cuss at a customer. That's terrible. That's the employee's fault. But if the manager comes and excuses that behavior, and all that, that falls back on the owner of the McDonald's store. And if the owner is just like, well, sucks to be you then, it's just like, that's the kind of situation it is. It's like a pyramid effect. The top is only as good as the bottom in that situation. And you're supposed to have good managers, or I guess in her case, mods or whatever, to handle actually the issues for her. But the problem is they don't handle it, and then she doesn't want to handle it when they don't handle it. So that's how I feel about that. But yeah, many times I even feel sorry for the mods in some ways, because I've seen it in the past, even before, when they would be like, "We really want to get rid of this person, but we can't." So in some ways, I feel bad for him, but at the other times, I don't feel bad at all, because this has been an issue for so long, and they are part of the problem by, giving people so many excuses when they're creepy and bad and violent. So that is my take on it. I'm sorry this video went over an hour, but I've explained more points. I just want to say one more time that I never said that they were all mods. That's just like what kind of happened with the telephone game, I guess. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Parasocial grooming. Larry Appleton was already problematic. Steve, I reported multiple times. Ariel reported multiple times. Nothing was done about it. We were just told, like, hey, well, at least you guys blocked each other. Johnny took a whole year to get banned. His buddy didn't get banned. His buddy went on to groom me later, but he should have been banned then. Um, People bullying me has been kept because there were subs, and that's not even a predator issue. That's just a shitty kid issue because he was actually a kid too, but he was still bullying me and attacking me. Santheman too. He's creepy. I will say that he's creepy. He's not a pedo, but he's creepy. And he was dangerous. And he harassed and attacked us, and that went on for 2 years. I'm just gonna put that out there. Like, I don't know when exactly he got banned. I think it was after a year he got banned. But it's just that went on for so long, and we sent so many receipts, and then nothing was done about it. And that's just a part of the problem that Eugenia does not care. She does not fix things when it's brought to her. None of it. Like, it's just not handled in a good way whatsoever. On any level of any board, any kind of bad behavior, it's just not handled. And with all the pro ana shit there and all the pro ana fetishizing there, it is such a big problem. And Eugenia's audience is not a safe place for children. But yeah, that's all I had to say. That's my final words. I wanted my last video to be my final words, but I think I actually did it better here. So yeah, if anyone wants to, I guess, condense this in a comment, I'll pin it with all my major points, because I know I like to ramble a lot, and I just kind of experience a bit of brain fog where I start to say something, and then, like, my thoughts get stolen from me, or my words get stolen from me. Well, this has been a traumatic mess. I want to be done with it. I don't care if you guys talk about it. It's just, I'm not going to focus on it anymore. And I'd like this video to be posted through Reddit, because I've seen some people bring up, like, oh, she never said this, or whatever, and it's just, it probably wouldn't have mattered if I gave a name anyway. So yeah, that's how I feel. I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna post different content on this channel. I'm not gonna be re-traumatizing myself anymore. I don't know what my plans are. I might just talk a bit about my life. But yeah, this can be a yeah. It's just, I'm done with this whole issue. I don't know the timeline. I know people want a timeline. But yeah, I just ask. This can be posted to the Reddit. But after that, people can talk about it. But it's just, I just want to be done with it personally. But I thank you all for supporting me. Some of you guys have been really lovely people to me. It's just I can't, cause I've been kind of driving myself to this, to like suicide. Yeah, there were some things lost in translation. But I hope this is the video that everyone wanted from me, and I tried to make it my last video, but uh, yeah, you this this can be, um, uh, but yeah, I think the whole Discord should just be deleted at this point or made 18 plus. There are servers that can do 18 plus. They just have to, verify people's ages maybe, or if someone's exposed for not being 18 plus, they can be banned. It is possible to make an 18 plus server, or at least try to. There's probably always going to be minors that find their way in because they're sneaky as heck, but if it's found out that they are not 18 plus, they can be banned. But the Discord should just be deleted at this point, or they should make it 18 plus and kick all the kids out. Like, so that way they can fetishize her all they want in peace and be around all they want, because in that case they're adults then. But yeah, I'm asking for her Twitch and her Discord to be made 18 plus. Sorry, I'm experiencing that brain fog again. I am really sorry. I'm sorry if you can't get through this video because of it. Okay, that's it. Bye everyone.